Um, Buriboyo. This is a continuation to my series about Too Afraid to Fail series, as I promised that I'm starting and that I want to continue. This is my first video about Too Afraid to Fail. So today, the topic I want to address specifically is people you need to avoid in your life when you want to make a change of anything in your life. When you want to make a change that will propel you to a progress in an element or in some aspect of your life. People you need to avoid. It's only necessary we look into that carefully in order to get a better understanding of that. So, like I said, please do kindly follow me on my Instagram page, which is Chief MD1. Instagram page Chief MD1, or my TikTok Chief MD1 as well. Or you can as well follow my YouTube channel, which is Chief MD, just Chief MD. Please follow and subscribe. I would really appreciate that if you follow and subscribe. And try to leave a comment for or against, or just share your opinion. Every opinion counts. You understand? Nobody's a custodian of knowledge or wisdom. Knowledge is not inherent. We acquire by learning it. And wisdom is an application of knowledge gained, either through life experience or whichever way. Mostly through life experience. However, today, let me just not digress and focus on too afraid to fail. Too afraid to fail is like saying too afraid to succeed. Like I said in my first video, many people are too afraid to succeed because they're afraid of success. And they end up doing nothing. Some people are too afraid to fail and they end up sacrificing everything not to be a failure and become a success, just a tiny little bit. But what makes the difference? The first thing is people you need to avoid in your life in order to make change to stop you from being too afraid to fail or too afraid to succeed. You know, the way you can identify these people in your life are through introspective look into your own self and then looking at the bad character trait you have in yourself, those bad character traits that you have, and you have to look at the people in your circle that basically amplify those bad character traits in your life. Those bad character traits are the bad character you need to get rid of in yourself. Also get rid of people who enforce, who encourage, who participate in that with you. So to make so that I can make the right choice. So to make the right change, you need to confront your fear of failure. So you also need to start with the people that also support this your emotional or spiritual space. You need to pull them out of it. Who are these kind of people that you know that needs to go? Which are this kind of character traits you need to change to confront your fear of failure? Let me give you a good example. For instance, if you know you're an alcoholic and you're trying to stop drinking, what you need to do, that's a bad character trait. Some people love to drink. I love my brandy, whiskey, bourbon, red wine, and all this stuff. But I wouldn't say I'm an alcoholic. I don't drink excessively. But if I was to quit drinking today, I need to avoid people in my circle that drinks who are alcoholic and drink too much, or avoid places that is alcohol consumption. So if you know you're an alcoholic and you want to stop drinking, you avoid drunks, alcoholic people, or people who like to get down and dirty with their alcohol. You know, if you're a lazy person, avoid lazy people who indulge your laziness. Just simple things. If you get to places late all the time, avoid people who don't care, who won't hold you accountable if you're late, who are also habitual latecomers themselves. You know, if you're a liar and you want to change, avoid liars. If you're a cheat, avoid cheaters. You understand? And if you want to develop yourself, avoid people who think they have absolute view about everything, who will refuse to change. who doesn't see change or evolving as anything relevant. You need to avoid people like that. If you want to read a lot of books, join people who love to read. Associate with people who love to avoid people who hate books, who hate reading. You need to avoid people like that to allow you to evolve to that interest of reading. So my point is, these are bad character traits that also contribute to your fear of failure or your fear of taking one step forward or making a change. So if you want to be set up your own business, avoid people who don't believe in you standing on your 2 feet. My point then I'm getting at is you should avoid doubters in your inner circle. People who constantly doubt your ability to do what you want to do or your commitment to do what you want to do. The normal cliche is, oh, your doubter will spoil you. No, no, no. Your doubters actually deprive your spirit, mental and physical and emotional spirit from evolving. Because it's what you input in you that germinates. If you're hungry, you eat to satisfy your hunger and give you strength to do what you're doing. But if all you hear and it goes into your spirit, into your being, is doubt, from very extent, it becomes part of you. Then it enhances your fear factor about life. Oh, you can't do that. Why do you want to do that? Why people like you shouldn't do that? People like you are not supposed to do that because you're black, you're white, you're tall, you're short, you're fat, you're skinny. It does not matter. Avoid doubters in your life. They are far more critical to you evolving from being afraid of succeeding, for being afraid of success, for being afraid of failure, to actually becoming an achiever. Does that make sense? So think about it. Focus on your own bad character traits. Try to eliminate those bad character traits in your own life. Then address that bad character trait within your circles, people you associate with. Try to distance yourself from those people, those bad character traits, and associate more with people who have similar character that you're trying to develop or emulate. Good one is, if you're unemployed and you only associate, or you're associating mostly with people who are unemployed, or doesn't want to work, you're most likely going to remain unemployed for a very long time. Unless you associate with people who actually have a job. This is the one that can tell you whether a job is different, vacancy, or encourage you more about your job search. Does that make sense? So in conclusion today, for my first video, I want to make you focus on change. My next video will look closely into change. A change is not a change unless the changes and truly make change happen before a change occurs. You might talk about change, but if you don't put it in act and action and deed, you don't change. It's just words. And for change to happen, there must be a sacrifice. There must be a sacrifice. With something must give for you to move to the next place. If you want to be a trained driver, you have to sacrifice time to learn how to drive a train. If you want to be a driver of a car, you can't jump in a car today and start driving. You got to learn how to drive. You have to go get the driver's license. That's one part. Then you have to get a car. For you to now be able to legally drive on the road, you have to now get insurance, MOT, and other stuff. Those are the steps you need to take to actually get to the point of successfully driving a car. That's a change process. A change is not a change unless the change changes, and a change requires sacrifice. Sacrifice of the mind is very important. Sacrifice of the mind. Sacrifice of your deed, your actions, your act and actions, the way you act, the way you behave. It's very important. Going the sacrifice of the mind, sacrifice of your act and actions, and sacrifice of your thought process or deed. Sacrifice of your thought process influences a lot of the way you act and what you conceive in your mind, and then how you perceive life. So if you're willing to make those changes, I mean by dumping your character traits, your bad character traits, and then you're willing to make those necessary sacrifices, those necessary sacrifices you're able to make will automatically dump your character traits, your mind sacrifice your mind process, sacrifice your action process, sacrifice your thought process, what you allow to flow in you, your thought process, your association. You're most likely going to evolve to a point of not or less afraid of change and of success. So my next video will focus on change in retrospect. This is a series on too afraid to fail. So please go to my YouTube channel, that's Chief MD. Go to my Instagram channel, which is Chief MD1, or my TikTok channel, which is Chief MD1. And then make a comment. Watch and make a comment, subscribe and follow, make a comment. I'll be really, really honored. I want to hear your view. Text, call, text, whatever. I want to hear your view about it. Too Afraid to Fail series. Please follow. Thank you. God bless.